Hey, what's up, YouTubers and dudettes? My name is Gino84 and welcome to my review of not one, not two, but 3 movies in a single video. The reason I'm not talking about these films in their own separate videos is because I've not really been in a cinema-going mood for most of the summer until very recently. And seeing as I'm late to the party on some of these, as well as seeing them in close proximity to each other, it just makes sense to talk about them all in one video. So with that out of the way, let's get this show on the road! Yeah, I actually bothered to see that in cinemas. Okay, so it was actually the release of its sequel that led to me being shown the first movie. And while as an analyzer of film I could point out how weirdly structured and out of the blue everything feels, it doesn't matter because the movie itself doesn't care. This is just actors clearly having fun singing great ABBA songs on a beautiful island, and it's genuinely hard not to be swept away by it and simply enjoy it as the crazy ride that it is, and I rather liked it. And I went into the sequel expecting a similarly entertaining time. But not long into the film, I was honestly impressed with how better made it is compared to its predecessor. Scenes don't just randomly begin and end, and the song numbers don't come out of thin air. There is a bit more of a flow this time around. But it still retains the first film's charm thanks to some very good new additions to the cast, with the younger versions of some of the characters being scarily similar to their older counterparts, a solid plot with some surprisingly funny moments, and more great ABBA music, although some of the actual sequences can feel a bit more pedestrian, mainly in the middle. And to be honest, while it made a very good impression on me early on as being better made than the first, it does feel overly long. Some of the scenes around the time when Lily James arrives at the island could have been trimmed down to keep things feeling a bit slicker, and that does keep it from being better than the original and rather just on par. But the rest of the film is still a lot of fun while being unexpectedly well crafted. I liked it quite a bit, and I'll score it 3 stars. Not every film has to be a groundbreaking masterpiece to be enjoyable, and these 2 films prove that wholeheartedly. So that's one film down, and next up is... Fun fact, I saw this in its final screening at my regular cinema, and I had to be quick about watching the previous entries too, because I wanted to see this on the big screen due to the acclaim it received. I'll quickly go over my thoughts on the first 5 films. So I found the first 2 to be perfectly fun blockbusters, although their plots were surprisingly hard to follow, but 3 ramps things up considerably, and after that the series remained consistently great, at least for me. Watching them all left me excited to see the franchise's newest entry on the big screen to see if it impacted the experience in any way. And for a good chunk of the film, I wound up thinking that it was on the same level as the last 3. But soon the thrill of seeing some of these sequences in a packed cinema infected me, and by the end, which contains one of the most thrilling action sequences I've ever seen, Fallout had completely won me over and became my favourite entry in the series. And while I could use the fact that I saw this one in theatres as the primary reason for that being the case, I do think there's other elements at play that elevate it above the other entries in the series. By the time you get to movie 6, it's hard to not enjoy seeing this team again, particularly as they become more definite in later installments. And this time around, Ethan Hunt's psyche is explored a little bit more, which was a nice change of pace. It's those characters interacting and seeing where the mission goes next that serve as a good breather in between the set pieces that steal the show, and Fallout contains some of the best action in the entire series. And the whole film is a great example of how to make an extremely entertaining blockbuster without it feeling disposable, and I'm very glad I made the effort to see it on the big screen, giving an already thrilling movie that extra thrill, and Mission Impossible Fallout walks away with a very strong 4 stars. I'm already anticipating seeing a 7th film in this series, although this one just set a hell of a high bar for future entries to follow. And to finish things off... Now I'm talking about... Now I don't usually review this type of film, but because I like to show this extra side of me as a film fan on occasion, and also the buzz surrounding it made it sound like something I dig, made me want to talk about it. I was also away for a couple of days, and with it not playing at my regular theatre, I seized my moment to check it out. Look, I'm just going to cut straight to the chase. This film was amazing. This is a special kind of movie in which it manages to be extremely relevant whilst never sacrificing itself as an actual film and tying the politics into the narrative beautifully. And the true story that it tells is gripping from beginning to end, masterfully presenting how silly the idea of the KKK really is, whilst never backing down from the harrowing nature of the group, with a sequence that could have been theatrical in its over-the-top nature, somehow manages to come off as sickening. But the harsher moments are wonderfully contrasted against some incredibly funny scenes and brilliant acting from every single cast member. It's a true story that lends itself well to being an actual movie, and Spike Lee tells it with incredible cinematic force. There's never a dull moment, whether it be funny, engaging, intense, harrowing, unique, satisfying, or just plain wonderful. Yet what made this movie so brilliant is its final punch. I'm not that interested in politics, nor do I pretend to be, so to make sure the ending had the intended impact, the film made me care about the characters, their viewpoints, and the effect that some of these events can have on people, before bringing it back to the present and leaving me to wipe away a few unexpected tears, followed by a silence from the cinema unlike any other I've experienced. This film floored me. I saw it a couple of days ago and I'm still thinking about it. And the more I do, the more I think it might be a masterpiece, and the more I want to go and see it again. And if you couldn't already tell by now, it absolutely gets a top grade of 5 stars. BlacKkKlansman is an amazing cinematic tour de force, and I loved every last second of it. Coco has now got some competition in my end of year ranking, and the other two films should fit into the rest of the list quite nicely. But there's still plenty of time left in the year, meaning there'll be plenty of films I'll be seeing, so I hope you look forward to seeing the rest of my cinematic year unfold. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye!